Most videos would give you the top 5 tips needed to become a millionaire. But I'm actually gonna turn that upside down. What's more important is all the mistakes you need to make to become a millionaire. And the reason I know that is because in my life, I've made the biggest gains after my biggest mistakes. So in this video, I'm gonna give you the top 5 mistakes I've made that I think can help you become a millionaire. Mistake number 1 was trusting people with a handshake. I've lost hundreds of thousands of dollars by trusting people on a handshake. And I used to be a handshake guy. I would love to believe that everyone's word is gold and that's all you need. But after being burned by it so many times, I realized that you always need everything in writing. I've lent money to people on a handshake and never got it back. I've paid contractors on a handshake and had them run off with the money. And I've had relationships go south because one party doesn't remember what the other said. So now a handshake's just not even an option for me. We are gonna do everything in writing and get a contract. And it doesn't matter whether we're best friends or we're family, I wanna get it all into contract to protect both of us. That way we're both on the same page with doing the deal, and as time passes, nobody forgets or misremembers what we actually said. Second big mistake I made was that time I got caught speculating. 2018 was the first year that I flipped over 100 homes and made 7 figures in 1 year. It was a great year where everything was going really well, but I was making a ton of mistakes that were hidden because the market was appreciating. I would routinely buy deals that looked like they were gonna make $20,000, then all of a sudden they made $40,000 or $50,000. It's not too different than what's happening in today's real estate market. But during that time, I got so consumed with buying deals and I thought that there was no way a deal could lose because the market was so strong that I began speculating. Instead of maintaining my minimum $20,000 profit margin, I began lowering it to $10,000, sometimes even $5,000, because I figured that the market's appreciating and it will end up getting more than that when it's time to flip it. And even though I made some money on those deals, the reality was they ended up costing me far greater. At the end of the year, the Fed decided they wanted to raise interest rates and the market came to a halt. And this was around the time I was buying a bunch of these speculative deals. I ended up having to hold on to those properties throughout the winter, and I was paying lots of money in interest during all those extra months. And then I had to sell them for less than what I thought because I just wanted to get rid of them. Long story short, I ended up losing over $500,000 on bad deals. Now let me be very clear. I was the only one who lost that money. All my lenders who funded those deals got all the interest that was owed to them. They didn't lose anything. I was still buying good deals mixed in with those, so thankfully, even though those ones lost, I was still in the black because I bought enough good deals. But that whole experience taught me that no matter how good the market seems, it can switch like that. There are a ton of events that could change the economic climate tomorrow. And so you never want to speculate as if things are always gonna go up. If you're flipping houses or you're investing in real estate, make sure you're buying a deal that makes sense today at these numbers. And if prices go up, then that's great. You're gonna make even more money. But if prices go down, hopefully you still bought a good deal and you're just making less money or even breaking even. But if you're buying with razor thin margins and only hoping for appreciation, it leaves you almost no room for error and you're gonna end up getting burned like I did. Mistake number 3 was all those years I was too prideful to pay for coaching and mentorship. In 2014, I started learning about real estate investing through a website called Bigger Pockets. I consumed all their books, I listened to the podcasts, I participated in the forums, and the best part was, it was almost free to do all of that. And on Bigger Pockets, they talk about how you should never pay for coaching, especially if it's expensive. And their reason behind that is because information is freely available on places like YouTube or podcasts. So that was my mindset the first 3 years of flipping houses from 2015 to 2017. I never paid $1 for education. Now, thankfully, I was resourceful enough to find mentors who I didn't have to pay, and they allowed me to start flipping houses and do great things. But it wasn't until 2018 when I first paid for a seminar, when I paid for coaching, when I paid for a mastermind, that I saw the real fruits of what happens when you do pay. I got invited to Grant Cardone's 10X Growth Con right here in Las Vegas, and I'll never forget it because that event changed my life. One of my friends, Nick Marietta, bought me a $10,000 ticket to that event. And with that ticket came backstage access to all the speakers and other high-level people. And I'll never forget, it was just a whole different experience when you're around those type of people willing to pay that kind of money. They have a totally different mindset than the person who wants everything for free. But it was also at that event where I purchased my first ever course. I bought Russell Brunson's and I bought Tai Lopez. Between those two courses, I dropped $7,000 learning things that had nothing to do with real estate. But it was through those two courses that I was influenced to write my book, Flip Your Future. If I don't ever attend that event, this book is never written and it doesn't help the thousands of people who have read it. And eventually that led to me starting Future Flipper, where we have over 1,000 students all across the country who have impacted in a crazy way. Once again, none of that happens unless I go to that 10X event and my mindset shifts. And since then, I've spent 6 figures on masterminds, courses, seminars, and mentors. And that 6 figures has easily been the best investment on my career, and it's not even close. Now, I will say one thing. Not every course and mentor I've hired has been what I expected. Some of them have sucked. But when you look at everything as a whole, getting that one course has changed my life, or getting that one mentor has changed my trajectory. Joining that one mastermind has changed things significantly. So if you've paid for something before and it didn't work out, don't keep the bias that paying for coaching or mentorship is wrong. Try again and find somebody who's right. 4th mistake I made was when I was too prideful to get on social media. For most of my life, I did not enjoy social media. I would have rather been a private person just doing their own thing. That changed in 2016 when a mentor told me to start posting about my real estate business. So I jumped on Facebook and I started writing different posts about what I was doing. I was showing some before and afters, I was highlighting deals I did, and it ended up making my business take off like crazy. People started recognizing me and sending me deals. Lenders wanted to give me money to invest. And I realized that social media was a great tool for your business, as long as you were willing to put yourself out there. But all I was doing for that time was Facebook. It wasn't until the end of 2017 when somebody reached out to me and said I should get on Instagram. But after him pushing me to do it, I decided to start it, and the results were instant again. I was connecting with even more people and doing more deals. And so I thought Instagram was all I needed to do. Well, fast forward to 2020 and everyone's telling me I need to get on TikTok and that I should have a YouTube channel. I did not want to do it. I thought that TikTok was for kids who were just dancing around. I honestly believed that nobody watched YouTube. I only went on it when I wanted to learn how to do something like tie a tie. I had no idea that people watched it as entertainment and they had their favorite creators and people that they looked forward to watching their videos. And once again, they were right, I was wrong. My pride prevented me from getting started sooner. And ever since I started TikTok and YouTube, my life has been completely changed, my business has been transformed, and my wealth has grown exponentially. Now look, social media isn't always gonna have instant results. The odds are you're not gonna have traction right away. It's gonna take time to grow. But I can promise you, if you're trying to become a millionaire, social media is well worth doing in today's society. The old school ways of being private and not talking about money are gone. It's way easier to make money when you're transparent and open about what you're doing, because it leads to so many people wanting to do it with you. And if you just put out content, it's gonna lead to a number of things. You could take the approach of creating content and having people come to you because you make such good content, or you can do the opposite and start reaching out to the other people on social media and using it as a way to connect. And I truly believe social media is gonna create more millionaires than anything else going forward. And by the way, if you like this style of content, make sure you go check out my podcast where I go in depth on topics just like this, even more. I'll link to it down below because if you enjoy my main channel, I think you're probably gonna like my podcast even more. Mistake number 5 I've made is worrying about what other people are doing. They say that comparison is the thief of joy. If I'm constantly comparing myself to people who are further along than me, it's not gonna make me feel very good. And the moment I stopped doing that was the moment I had more joy and I started to become more successful. So run your own race to become a millionaire and don't worry about how fast someone else got there. And make sure you subscribe if you enjoyed this video.